Hello, everyone. My name is Katie, and yeah, it's early in the morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for Sean, and it's early for me because I didn't get any sleep. But anyway, yeah. So welcome to the live, and I'm going to turn it over to Sean in just a minute so he can tell you guys about his channel and a little bit about himself. And then we're going to start working on the Star Climber. He's going to tell you what part of the Star Climber he's going to work on today. And then I'll tell you what I plan on doing. You probably can already see by the camera. So anyway, hi, Sean.
G'day, and thanks for having me yet again. So we are working on the Star Climber. We've done several of these blocks, and I have put mine away somewhere that I was going to show. But we have two different blocks we're working on, both the courthouse steps, which is this one here, and then the woven stars, which there's my demonstration piece, which is this one here. So I've been working on these for a while, so I figured it'd be time to switch it up and go back to the courthouse steps because I've only made like one or two of these. So this is the one that I made last week.
Oh, that one's good looking.
It is. I used a lot of my Tula scraps. I got a bunch of Tula scraps from the Alice in Wonderland thing that I did with Art East Quilting Co. And so I
So
figured that'd be a
that
good way.
go. Can you show that again?
Yeah.
So those lines, that's Tula Pink.
Yeah, this is old Tula. It's from her. I don't know. Someone in the chat can tell me which line it is. I can't remember.
Wow, I like that fabric. That'd be fun for directional stuff like what you did. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, like this one, the green was used in the caterpillar, I think it was, and I forget which blocks the other ones were used in. I think this is like for some of the mushrooms. The pink,
Oh,
I I can't remember. That was really neat. But yeah, that's all Tula, and then I've actually cut out um five more.
well, that
So I'm
sounds
gonna I don't know if I won't make them all today. I won't have that sort of time on my hands, but that's one set that I'm gonna do, and then this set, and then these stripes.
I like the stripes because they'd be fun for stuff like that, what you're
I
doing.
know, yeah. And then this one here and this here as well, little dots. I think
Oh,
this one's
that's
called Tiny
awesome.
Dots, and I forget what the rest of them are called. But since you had such a good reaction to the stars and the stripes, we'll do that one first.
Yeah, I really like that.
And then I
I'm
was
go
going
ahead.
to use the black tulle background, but I don't have enough. But I did find it's one of my friends sent me a skinny jelly roll, which is 1.5 inches wide, which is just the right width
Yep.
for this, and it's black. So I was like, okay, well, we're just going to use that instead. So there you go. So that's what I've got going on. My channel, let's see. I have a live Saturday morning at 8 a.m. for all the early birds. And then my podcast usually goes live between 8:30 and 9 a.m. So when you finish watching this, you can duck over and watch the latest episode and see what crazy shenanigans I get up to during the week. So that's me in a nutshell.
How you feeling about being empty nested right now?
I miss the kids. It's weird. Yeah, even though this is the fifth time we've done it, it's always strange, especially the first week or so that the kids are gone. Like because you sit there and you think, you have that routine that you have with the kids each week. Like we have American movie night on Saturday, and there was no American movie night because there was no kids. And then only having to prepare two dinners instead of four, and that sort of
Yeah.
thing there. So yeah, we miss the kids, but we are happy that they are back home with their families.
Have you heard anything about where your next two are coming from yet, or will that be sometime later?
We only have one next year. We had planned on doing two. However, our local high school only allows a certain number of exchange students in. And by the time we had picked the second student, one of the other organizations had already snagged the other spots. So we do have one young lady coming in from Belgium. We're really looking forward to hosting her. But yeah, unless something changes, we will only have the one student this coming year.
Well, I know Greenland has international, the same thing where Greenlanders get to go to the United States. I'm kind of wondering why they're not going to your area.
There's several different organizations that host exchange students, and Leander and I partner with two different organizations, and we have never seen a Greenlander year students on the list because if we did, I would definitely take a very close look at them because I think it'd be fun
Yeah.
to have someone from Greenland. But yeah, they may just be working with a different organization that we're not partnered with.
Yeah, I don't know who they're with, but I just know that I'm aware that they do it. So,
Yeah, no, it would be a lot of fun to have someone from Greenland um, join us. Oh, I cut out too many pieces of fabric, but that's okay. We can
okay,
use those.
so I'm going to work on the star again today because I'm just in the mood. But I thought I would. You mentioned you hadn't seen any of my courthouse stairs, or you didn't think you had. They were hanging up here behind me on the board with that quilt top that I'm getting ready to take down and put into a sandwich. But here's some of my courthouse stairs.
Oh, I remember those now because that first one always looked like the Argentinian flag in the middle to me.
Yeah, that's what you told me. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. But yeah, I'm using mostly well, I've been experimenting a little bit with using like these are this is first time you're going to see green in anything of mine except for Phoenix
Yeah. Oh, that's
and
pretty. I like the
so
green.
yeah, the green is really pretty, but I figured I would do more mostly cooler colors on the courthouse stairs. That's not a cool color, the yellow, but yeah, a little bit different. And then with the stars, I'm making them really bright and happy, so to speak. So here's some examples of
Oh, those are pretty.
yeah, see that one, this was the last one I made, I don't know, a few days ago. Um, got this one and this one.
Well, that's nice. Yeah, I like all the bright and happy colors you're using there. They look really, really neat.
Yeah, I think this is going to be I'm enjoying the sew along, and the fact that we're taking our time with it makes it even better. It's given me a chance to figure out some more colors that I want to use on the stars and on the courthouse stairs too. So been kind of because look, Sean, this is like overkill here.
Hey, that's called being prepared. I'm
Yeah,
jealous of that sort of thing because I'm never prepared. I'm always running from one thing to the next, you know. Like I told Katie, like normally we hop on like 7:45, 7:50 to make sure our video and sound and everything works out nicely. And I texted her at 7:45. I said I'll be there in a few, and she was worried I was gonna be late. I'm like, well, I just wanted to let you know
yeah.
that you
I'm like,
didn't.
what's a few in your book?
Well, it was a few minutes. Like I had to run upstairs and drop off some coffee to Amanda and come back down. I was like, I didn't want to be like 7:52 and she thinks I'm still upstairs asleep or something. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, to me, a few was actually a few. Like, so
All right. So, hello, Michelle. Welcome, welcome, along with Cindy and Sandy. Hi there, y'all. It's good to see you.
yes.
Okay. So, look, you know what I decided to do is I prepared. Let me show you what I did, Sean.
Okay.
I took from these rectangles and I pulled uh I prepared like I have uh four of a cool set. These are like the cooler colors. And then I
Right.
have a sets of warmer colors. And I'm gonna test run like right for this one I'm gonna work on in a minute. We have warm colors here, and we're gonna use cool colors with it. We're gonna see how that looks with the star.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay, now we can sew.
And see, I feel like I can call myself a real quilter now because, like, up until I started this project, I'd never done a log cabin block before, and
Yeah,
so I felt like I was some sort of like fake quilter because I'd never done them.
nah. You've heard me say that I feel like sometimes I still consider myself a beginner quilter because there's skills I still don't know. Like applique is one of them. Uh, and there's a couple other things that some people are doing that I definitely haven't been doing. And why do I have the same?
Applique is easy once you kind of figure out I think the biggest challenge, at least for me, the biggest challenge of applique was figuring out the width and the stitch length that suited
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
And once I had that dialed in, it was actually fairly straightforward.
And I need me a star diagram so I can figure out how I'm going to do this.
I usually lay mine out. Like once I cut the fabric out, I usually lay it out on the paper.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm laying it out on paper that's not been cut up. And then because I already got paper cut up and I've already put the white, the number one's already glued to the paper.
Oh, okay. See, I don't glue it. I'm lazy.
So let me see here. I think I'm going to put light pink on this side and dark on that side. And then I'm going to make it opposite on the other side where it's dark
Okay.
here and light here, I think. Haven't
Yeah, I've never really done the whole gluing things. I always forget to go buy paper, I mean glue, and I just pray that it sticks. And thankfully, so far, touch wood, it's it's stuck.
I'm just using the glue on that first one, and then after
First
that,
piece, yeah.
yeah. And someone suggested using this 505. So, and I looked on Fat Quarter Shop, and sure enough, they had some. So I ordered it. I wish I could find a smaller stick because this is a fat stick. See that? And when
That'll keep you going.
I'm using 4-inch paper piecing.
Well, that'll keep you busy for a while.
Oh yes. Well, I have another glue stick around here somewhere. It's right here. Yeah, I have the sew line one right here. I was looking for it earlier, but I just found it. I've been using it too, so normally I'm not even a glue person to begin with, but this is interesting because it's making it easier for me to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so number two. Now I got to get reoriented again because we haven't sewed on this for a little while.
Yeah, no, it's like if you haven't
Like,
done it for a while, you forget.
yeah, it's like, okay, how did I do this before?
Well, I'm glad that I'm not the only one that thinks that way, because I'm like that.
Yeah, it's like, darn it, I forgot how to do this.
All right. So, what is everybody else working on in the chat? Are you guys just hanging out, sipping your coffee, or are you working on a project? Why are you watching? If you're watching the replay, let us know what you're working on while you listen to us too, because that'd be fun to hear.
Yep. Thank you, Michelle, for your compliment of the block too. She said, "Beautiful blocks, Katie."
Oh, definitely.
I'm enjoying this process. I really think this has been fun so far. I mean, yes, we're drawing it out because it's work, but I'm enjoying it a whole lot.
Yeah, it's been a fun project. It's because I'm not one that races along on anything really, because I just like to enjoy the journey.
Yeah, the journey is fun.
I think
And
the
I
only
think,
pro
go ahead.
I think the only project I keep up with even close is the Cotton Cuts Puzzle Mystery Quilt.
Yeah, I'm uh, and I know you're filming yours. I'm only filming or I'm doing mine on live from time to time. Because I'm trying to get caught up with you guys on my Phoenix, and I'm getting close.
Yeah.
Not, but yeah, why does this look like it's on the? Oh, it's because it's up.
Oh,
I got it. Never mind. I'm getting myself confused here. It's because
no, you're
this is
fine.
upside down.
Upside down, upside down. All right. Stephanie says that she is hand sewing binding, waiting to go on another Iowa quilt shop hot sale. That sounds like fun. Yeah, they're starting the Mid-Atlantic one here in July, I think it is. And that should be fun because there's a lot more of the local shops in my area that are participating this time around. And so I'll have to go check that out, because last year it was, I don't know that any, I think there was like one shop in the local area that participated, and after that I had to travel like a couple of hours to go see them.
Yeah.
And I never quite got around to it because, I work full time and then I do YouTube on the weekend, and then there's, household duties to attend to. And by the time you do all that, there's no time left.
Excuse me. I'm probably going to be doing that a lot this morning. Stephanie says, "Good morning, everyone. I'm hand sewing binding. waiting to go on another Iowa quilt shop hop today. Look, Sean, I finished this on the live last night. Sorry,
Oh, that's
guys.
pretty.
Remember, I did this as a channel sew along last year. And then I quilted it, I don't know, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I got the binding on it last night.
Oh, very nice. I was just, I thought that looked familiar.
Look at the back. It's so colorful. I just
Oh, there
love
you
it.
go. You got a label on there, I see.
Yep, I got a label and everything. It says made in Greenland.
There you go. All
So
right.
y'all gonna have to
See.
excuse me sniffling. There's nothing I can do about it. It's some kind of, I go through this every time I get up in the morning.
So next time we'll have to do an evening live or something.
I don't know, but it's sometimes it's very annoying. Hey, Sean. I mean, see? Ooh, look at that. That looks great.
Yeah, I think it's going to turn out really nicely.
Yeah, it is. Hey, Jess.
Morning, Miss Jess. Good to see you. Well, yeah, I was hoping to run into you yesterday, but apparently you went up to the show on Friday. I said not yesterday, so but that's okay. I hope you had a good time while you were there. All right.
The leader for this looks like. Okay.
Why? Okay. Good morning, Miss Tasha. Hopefully you made it home safe. Well, you're talking to her, so I assume you made it home safely. She came down to Rodin, Virginia as well, and headed back home yesterday.
Hi, Kasha. And I gotta watch
It's,
out, or I'll be sewing this on the wrong line, like what I was about to do just now.
it's nice to be able to meet Tasha and say hi in person.
Yeah, I hope I get to see her at one QuiltCon
I
next year.
believe she's going down there for that. I think everybody's going to QuiltCon next year, so
Well, I'm also gonna I'm hoping to uh, I think I have a plan on. I am going to make a trip to California because I want to see my grandkids. So I figured I would, since Nikolai's going to be home uh, for Christmas and for our 15th wedding anniversary, and then he'll go back to sea like I think between the second and third week of January, and I'm thinking about flying to California at the same time he's leaving, and then spend because QuiltCon starts around February the 19th. So if I flew to California, I could do Road to California. I talked to my daughter last night and I said, asked her if she'd be up for doing Road to California. And she asked what it was. And I told her, she said, well, yeah, Mom, I'm up for that. So I don't know if I'll probably fly either into San Francisco. It's just, I think it's a little hard because if I fly into San Francisco, then that means someone has to come and get me unless I rent a car because she lives 3 hours from the airport. Or I fly into Ontario if that's possible, and her just drive down and meet me there, which is still going to be a 3 hour drive for her anyway. And then I would just go. Then I would just go back to Hanford after Road to California, and then fly out of San Francisco to Raleigh, North Carolina for QuiltCon, and then I'm just going to rent a car there, and that way I could drive back to because I want to stop off in Charleston, South Carolina on my way back down south because that's where I was born at and I've never seen it. And then stop in Georgia and spend some time with Blaze and Thomas. And then go on down to Florida and spend time with my other daughter and granddaughter and see Myra and see what kind of trouble she and I can get into.
Okay, so basically we all start need to take a collection now for bail money.
Yeah, probably. And I'm sad because Nikolai's not going to get to come because he's decided that he's not going to be traveling to the United States right now
Right.
because of what's going on. So yeah, I'm a bit sad about that, but I want him to be safe, and not be worrying about stuff. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's going to be tough on a lot of people who want to travel to the States, and there's a risk. I might get
Yeah.
Shanghai for all I know.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
I do know
Um,
I need to buy me a burner phone, I think.
I don't know. I'm not sure if Ontario does international flights, but I mean, I've been in the I've
Well, no,
flown in this.
I wouldn't straight shoot it to from Denmark to Ontario. I'd fly in somewhere on the East Coast, probably Jacksonville or something, or Atlanta, probably more than likely it'd be Atlanta, and then fly from there to Ontario or something like that. It's one of those. Could be North Carolina. You
Okay.
never know.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, like San Francisco's International Airport. I mean, it's fairly easy to come into the
Yeah, I always
customs.
fly in there, but it's Ontario's way south from. So you're looking at a 6 hour drive if you go from San Francisco down to Ontario, as the versus it's 3 hours from where Kristen is if I find somewhere to fly in down in South California.
Oh, okay. I thought you said it was like three and three, and I'm like, well, if it was me, I'd be going to San Francisco because it's
No,
a
because
much.
someone she would have to drive up to San Francisco and pick me up, and to me that's just hardly worth the effort when I could just fly in somewhere down there and she just meet me.
Yeah.
She might
Okay.
tell me, Mom, why don't you fly into Fresno and I'll just pick you up on the way going south. We could also do Fresno too. So there's that. Because I have flown into Fresno, I think, once. But the problem is when you fly into a smaller airport, it costs more money.
I was just about to say that. You got to look at you.
It costs more money
Yeah.
because it's a small one. It's not a big one. So I don't know. I'll get it all figured out, figure out my travel stuff. Because
You'll
we
sort
were,
it out.
if Nikolai had, oh, if Nikolai was going, we would have we were going to have a big road trip. We were going to do the botanical gardens down in Miami, and then we were going to go from Miami to Key West, and then we were going to come back up the West Coast, and then stop in Lake City and spend a couple weeks in Lake City, and then go to Georgia, and then go to North Carolina, and then on our way back stop or anyway, South Carolina would have played in that part somewhere, and then go on to Syracuse, and then get on the Zephyr train in Chicago and go to San Francisco, and then rent a car and go from San Francisco down to Hanford. But with him not going out, yeah, the train thing's going to have to wait.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever been down there, but the ocean road from San Francisco down towards like Monterey and Carmel
Yeah.
by the Sea and that beautiful, beautiful drive. If you all ever get a chance to take that road, I think it's was I forget what route it's called, but whatever it is, the ocean road, it's
Mhm.
stunningly beautiful. You need to do it at least once in your life if it's all at all possible.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
All right.
All
So
right.
there we go. Good morning, Miss Candace. I see Candace has popped in.
Hi, Candace.
Appreciate you all coming to join us for a little while.
Oh, this must be a strip piece that I must have took out of a jelly roll because it's got pinked ends on it or sides. I'm like, I didn't use my pinking shears. And now I know why. This is one of those jelly roll strips.
Yep. So that's so far making some progress.
Yeah, I am too. It's coming along. We're getting the warm colors done first, and it's hot in my house already.
What's the temperature where you are right now?
Uh, Close to 50 degrees, but the sun is out and there's no clouds, but I do see fog across the lake, which means it might cool everything down a little bit because we still have ice in the fjord. Um,
Oh,
it came late, but it's not a lot, but it's enough for cruise ships to be chicken and not come in. So
don't they
it
have
wasn't like
tenders?
it wasn't like. Remember last year when I came to QuiltCon and I was telling you about South Greenland being landlocked by ice,
Yeah,
and it stayed landlocked from the third week of February all the way to the third week in July. This year, we didn't get any ice in February, March, April, May. And then suddenly there's ice out there, but it's not much of it. So
well,
I think the Atlantic's, from what I saw yesterday, there's that there's been this thing going on south of us out in the Atlantic. There's this one blob right in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. I don't know how many nautical miles away from Greenland, and it's a cold blob, and it's right where the Atlantic steering currents are that go. It steers in and around Greenland and comes back down, and then goes back up Greenland through the Labrador Strait area. And
right.
but the when that blob is sitting there, it makes South Greenland feel cooler than it does up north. Up north is very warm, but down here we've been seeing, a little bit of cooler temperatures and a lot of fog.
It's interesting. Yes, yes.
There's already fog out there now, and it's not even noon yet. Well, getting close.
Need to send that cold blob over here because it's been, yeah, quite warm recently.
Interesting you should say that. Sometimes I think I've noticed, even with Europe, if Europe is scalding hot and the United States is scalding hot, we feel a little chilly. If we're really warm, then you guys are having milder temperatures. It's very strange.
Yeah. No, it's funny how that works out.
Yep,
And then my poor sister's probably freezing to death.
probably. Oh, in
Well, it's,
Australia?
yeah, well, it's the middle of winter, so
Well, I was wondering how cold do they get down there?
it depends on what part you go to. Like where I grew up, and it was like in the center of the country, kind of like where Virginia is here. It'd get down to freezing, maybe 28, 30 degrees at night. That was cold for us.
Hey, Joyce, welcome, welcome, and hello, Candace. Let's see, did I miss it? Hey, Joyce, she's here too. Yep, I already said that twice, didn't I? Y'all have to excuse me. I'm a little something today. Sleepless. It's called Sleepless in Greenland.
Oh, sleepless and green.
Yep. I didn't, yeah, I didn't sleep. I tried. I did. I tried really hard.
We'll hang out here for a little bit and then maybe go take a nap.
Well, yeah, I thought what I'd do is go to the store and see if the Navy ship was still down in port, taking guests on, and if they were still down there, I'm gonna go climb aboard and have a look because
You might as
they're having an open house and they've been doing this all up and down the coast. They're trying to put everybody's mind at ease.
That's
So
good.
they've been having open houses where people can come onto the boat and look at it. They even get to go on the bridge, which shocks me, which I think is pretty cool. I don't know if they're going to let you. I don't know if I'll be able to take pictures of the bridge or not.
Yeah, that might be
That might.
like you can always ask. The worst they can say is no.
Oh yeah, they may even say no camera. No, please put your phones away before you come on board. I don't know. I don't know what the rules are yet until I go down there and see.
Yeah, that'd be fun to see what you get up to there.
Yeah, because I'd like to see this frigate. It's a different kind of frigate that they sent. So it looks a little bit bigger than the other three that they usually have patrolling us anyway. Oh, look. What do you think about that, Sean? Can you see the light pink and the dark pink?
Yeah, I think it looks good.
Although it looks red in the camera, doesn't it? It's not red though. It's like, I don't know what color it is, but it's definitely not red.
Yeah, it looks a little red on there.
Yeah, it does. It's like it's got pink and red mixed together. That's
Yeah,
why, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, there were a lot of beautiful boutiques at the quilt show yesterday for sale, but I was good and didn't buy any.
Did you notice what the prices were on it or not?
Uh, I think most people were selling fabric for like 12 to 14 a yard.
Gosh, that's getting bad.
I think that's what it was, but that just seems to be about what a lot of it's going for now, wherever you go. So,
Yeah, I was looking on I don't know if you heard this or not, and if you didn't, then you get to hear it from me. So I watched Kimberly Jolly's live Friday, and
yeah.
she made about midways of the live, she made a comment that they would no longer be selling Robert Kaufman fabric. So
Yes, I heard that because Missouri Star has bought the
yeah,
license.
they're bailing Kaufman's company out because he's in financial straits. And I thought it was odd that she would just up and cut her hands off by doing that.
Yeah,
Because
no,
Kaufman fabric covers don't they do Kona fabrics too?
yes.
That's what I thought. I'm like, and a lot of people buy. I don't have much Kona, but I know a lot of people do. All
Yeah,
right,
I don't know.
Katie, when did you say the snippet so long is going to be? It is going to be July the 16th, and it will start at the celebration will start at noon Eastern Standard Time and run till 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which will be 3 to 3 for me.
You are a trooper. I don't think I could be live that long. You know, for me, it's like 90 minutes, 2 hours. I am done. That's about as much as you can get out of me. So,
Well, I think it's cool that they're going to jump on yours and my challenge.
yeah, for sure.
I'm so excited about that.
And I meant to put that on the podcast this morning
Well,
because I
you've got
got my,
plenty of time to advertise. We have an entire, well, not an entire month, but we have at least 3 weeks to advertise this whole thing. So,
yeah, 'cause this is my kid that I got.
oh, look at the colors. I'm just
Yes,
waiting on mine to get here.
yes, this is all like Allison Glass fabrics. And then the
Nice.
nice thing about this is this I recorded the whole segment for this. And when I went to go edit, it was missing. So I guess I didn't hit the record button.
Uh-oh.
And that's okay. I'll just talk about it next week. You know, so whatever, you know, because I recorded the podcast this morning, I was editing it and everything else, and then I was coming on live with you, and I was like, I haven't got time to go re-record this stuff. So I was like, okay, well, this doesn't make the cut this week. But when I did the 12 days of stitch-ups last year, it had the small triangles like this
Mm-hmm.
and the little squares. But this time they actually have big triangles, big
Yeah.
squares, little squares. So it's more like your puzzle mystery quilts.
Um, Joyce, let me have a quick look. I thought I answered it if I did. Let me have a real quick look, okay, Joyce? Because I seem to recall seeing the email and I thought I answered it. Let me see here.
Yeah. But with the Kona thing, you know, I'll be okay because the local quilt shop near me, Fabric Hut, stocks all the Kona. So I'll be able to get it from them. And I was talking to the folks at Legit Kit yesterday at the quilt show, and they were also some. No, who was I was speaking to somebody yesterday, and they were telling me. No, I think it was Chuck over at Legit Kit, and he was telling me that there is a store, and I can't remember the name of it now, that sells it like as a quarter yard cut rather than having to buy a half yard or a full yard cut.
Oh, and that's Kona that's in our legit kits, right?
Yes.
Okay, thought so. Joyce, yes, I did, and I answered it, and I am checking that out because I cannot believe if I can get a subscription where it's only $10 shipping, I'll have to test run her out because I do like her fabrics. It's for primitive gatherings. Apparently, she has a subscription where international shipping is $10.
Well, that's nice.
So I'm going to look into it. No, it's okay, Joyce. I'm like I hope I hit the send button because sometimes lately when I'm tired, I will write an email and think I hit the send button and there's And then I go back and I'm like, uh-oh, that didn't go through because I never hit the send button. And then there's the one where I'm posting to let y'all know I have a live that's going to be starting at a certain time, like for Thursday or Friday. And then I discover I never hit the enter button.
Yeah, I do
You
that all
know
the
how
time too.
annoying. Yeah, you know how annoying that is when you do something like that.
I just own up to it and say, hey, this is what happened. And I find that most people are very understanding because you're not the only one that does that.
Yeah, it's like, darn it, man. I want people to know what's going on because I know that notifications doesn't always happen. I know I rarely get notifications for anyone's channel these days. It's very strange.
Yeah, what I suggest you do if you're not getting notifications from particular channels is go to that channel, unclick the notifications bell, and then re-click it because it kind of
Okay.
re it seems to reset it.
Apparently, because I've gone to check to make sure I'm still subscribed, and I have been. I've only found
Yeah,
one channel where I was unsubscribed, and I'm like, okay, that's interesting.
I really think, and I could be wrong on this is just my personal opinion, like view and stuff. But I feel like if you haven't, like, if you're subscribed to someone and you haven't watched their videos or you haven't engaged with their videos in a while, it sometimes unsubscribes you.
Shouldn't be unsubscribing anyone.
Well, I understand why they do it because there's so many bots and trolls and stuff out there that are subscribing to these channels and they're not real viewers. And so they go through and try and get rid of those. But then in that same breath, sometimes they unsubscribe legitimate subscribers.
Yeah,
But if it gets rid of the bots and all the nasty stuff that we don't want on there, maybe it's just a necessary evil.
that is true. So, have you had
Yeah.
anything interesting going on your way besides going to the quilt show?
No, life here is pretty boring. I'm just going along with my little quilt projects, and yeah, things are kind of well, they've calmed down a lot, since the girls went home because usually the last month or two that they're here, we're running around like mad people trying to get them to see everything we can see before they go home. Because during the winter time, you don't want to be outside when it's cold and windy and wet and
I'm pretty sure
uh,
those girls are used to Arctic conditions because of where they live at.
oh, I'm sure they are, but doesn't mean I want to be out there in it.
Well, that's true. There's you, because you're from a warm place. Well, I don't know. In Australia, where you're from, did it ever get cold, or did it stay warm? You
Uh,
mentioned your sister having cold air. I didn't know if where you were from was the same or not.
yeah, she's actually a little bit further. Um, her weather's a little warmer than ours. Like in the wintertime, yeah, freezing would be a cold night. I looked up the weather there, like in both towns where she is and where I came from. I think the overnight low tonight well, right now it's about 45 degrees,
Man, that's a
and then
chill.
it'll get up to about 55, 60. So yeah, during the day it's usually not too bad. But yeah, if we got below freezing, that was cold, and that was overnight low. I don't think we ever had a day where the high was below freezing. That was kind of a new thing for me when I got here.
Yeah. You know what I find interesting is I don't know why, but over here, 40 degrees feels more like 50 degrees, except when the
The
wind
wind,
is blowing.
I
When
was
the
going to
wind is
say the
blowing,
wind.
yeah. When the wind comes, that's a whole different thing. Then it makes it feel like Siberia outside. But it's so strange because 40 degrees in Florida, that's cold but we have humidity in Florida. And I think that's why it always felt colder. And here it doesn't feel as cold. Or I've adapted to the Arctic one.
Well, I think you do adapt after a while. I mean, I remember there was one time I came to work in the morning and I looked, because most cars now have the little temperature thing outside gauge on the thing.
Yeah.
And I looked at that, I knew it was cold and I looked at it and it said 0.
Ooh, that is freezing. That is a hard freeze.
but it was not windy.
Yeah.
And so it didn't feel cold. And I think I actually spent like 45 minutes that day sitting on top of a rail car waiting for this truck to load. And I didn't feel cold at all. Like it felt like
Yeah.
it was 40 degrees. Now, if the wind had been kicking and it was 0 degrees, I would have been elsewhere. But
Joyce says, yes, we have the wet, cold, and wet summer. Uh, Joyce said Leanna had some awful trolls on her channel either yesterday or Friday. It was awful. Ouch. Did she have any moderators helping her? I
yes,
don't
she
want.
usually does. I don't know why they seem to pick on certain people because like I know last Saturday morning I was watching her live and there was trolls everywhere and I was kind of a little bit concerned that because I figured they all slept that hour in the morning, but yesterday morning like I don't really have a whole lot of trolls thankfully. But yeah, I don't know if it was yesterday or I didn't watch her live after yesterday either because she went live at 8 after she was on with me and I was on the road, so I wasn't able to watch any lives, unfortunately. But I don't
Yeah.
know. It's just sad that they seem to pick on certain people. And
Well, the last time I said something about mine's being quiet, we had an appearance in one of the, I think 2 nights in a row. But between me and someone else, we nailed them before they had a chance. And I am so proud. You should be proud of me. First, I didn't get all excited. Secondly, no one in the channel said anything when this was going
good.
on. They didn't, no one engaged the person that was causing the trouble.
That's good because what I've learned, and someone told me this, is that apparently some of these folks are out there and they try and gauge a reaction, and then they post that on somewhere.
Oh, do they post it?
Yeah, like they're trying to get people flustered and mad and stuff. And so yeah, the fact, if the audience can just let it, just stay quiet, like you said, and just ignore it, they're
I
not
do.
getting what they want.
Yeah. Now, the ones that are doing the sexual harassment, which to me, when you say, I want to do something, I'm like,
Hmm.
I report them because that's sexual harassment.
Oh, for sure. I mean, absolutely report them and everything else, but don't
Yeah.
engage with them,
Yeah. I
because it
don't even
said some
engage anymore. I just like ignore it. Like,
good. Yeah.
I just saw.
Yeah, because apparently I heard that and I was like, oh goodness, like, yeah,
Yeah.
you'll need just
It's
ignore it
distracting
because
when it happens because you have to stop what you're doing to, and because like I think it was Thursday night, I didn't have any moderators in there. Um, I guess something either they, I don't know, there just was no moderators Thursday night, and I was concerned that, well, uh-oh, I might have to battle someone by myself.
yeah, you just
But
hit the
no,
old.
I didn't get messed with, so I was happy about that.
Well, that's good. So there you go.
Which is a good thing because the less you're harassed, the better.
Oh yeah, I've been very very fortunate. They've kind of left me alone.
Look at here, I got two sides of it done now. So I'm going to place them on my little cheat sheet here so you
There
can
you go.
see what's going on here. All right, now I can start on the cool color part of it. It's getting where this is getting easier and easier to do, and I'm not taking as long to do it
Oh
unless
yeah,
I spend too much time talking.
no, it's amazing how much quicker you get at it. Like the first woven star or two that I did, it took me a long time. And
Mm-hmm.
now I think I can knock one out in like
Yeah,
30 minutes or so. It doesn't take long at all.
no, it's getting a lot easier for sure, for sure. Especially now that I got a little bit of a method down too of how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah,
It
no, it's
definitely
amazing
pays off.
how much.
Yeah, and it definitely pays off to trim that, when you put that first piece on the number one spot and you trim everything, it definitely
Yeah.
makes it a lot better when you do that to it. Like I forgot to trim these two. I had to trim part of it. Joyce says it's hard for her to keep quiet. Hey, Ingrid, welcome, welcome. And she says they all seem to be foreign also. Possibility. They say it in English, so it's hard to tell what place they were from. Oh, the ones that was in Leanna's channel, they could have been, especially so early in the morning. They might have been European people or somewhere on that side of the world anyway.
Yeah, but who else would be up that early?
Yeah, because
That's why I've always thought that I'd be safe because all those folks would be asleep. But like,
apparently they weren't if they were harassing her.
I know, and I feel bad for her because it's not besides burden them, there's not a whole lot else I can do to help.
Yep. Moderators are pretty handy with handling it, and that's a good
Oh,
thing.
they are. Yeah. All right. Well, this one's just about done.
So let me see here. I think I'm going to put the light here so that it's next to that dark red and then use the dark on the smaller. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. That looks good. Okay. So I'm sitting here thinking out loud.
Well, that's good. You're consulting an expert's opinion.
Yep. And if I answer myself, I'm not crazy. So, how's everybody been doing this weekend? Have you had a good weekend? Let us know in the chat. And also let us know what you've been, if you've been working on anything, what you've been working on. Or if you've just been chilling because it's the weekend.
So I'm just trimming down this block and then I'll show you all.
You're fixing to show me you finished one, aren't you?
Yeah, but
You're doing the courthouse and that doesn't take as long. To me, it doesn't.
I don't know. I feel they take about the same amount of time. Like I think I can knock out the woven star in about the same time as this.
I must have been crazy when I decided to do the 4-inch ones.
Yes.
Because there's pieces on here that are so tiny, especially on the courthouse part of it.
I was surprised when you picked the 4-inch. I was like, hey.
Like, what is she doing? I don't know. Obviously, oh, I did it. Wrong line.
At least you didn't do what I did yesterday. I was on my live and I sewed this piece on that I wasn't supposed to. I ripped it out and then immediately sewed it back on the wrong spot again.
Yeah.
I was like, if I do this a third time, going home.
One of the things I've tried not to do is when I make a mistake on because like I was running into a little bit of problem with the motor block heads block this go around because there was a lot going on with that block. And I was having a little bit of a problem with one section of it because I kept turning something the wrong. You know me, I'm directionally handicapped, and sometimes Katie puts something the wrong way. And but yeah, I feel like if I just give up during the live on it, unless it's absolutely nothing I can do about it, I try to finish it.
Yeah, I have a three strikes and you're out policy.
Yeah, I know you do. I want to show you a block. It wasn't this week's block. It was the week before. This is called Cat's Claw. Look at it. Tell me what you see wrong. Look, tell me what you see wrong with it.
The points don't quite match up on the left-hand side.
Yeah, you see how this long triangle should have gone corner to corner of the square. So it looks like the square's on top of it so that the yellow is like
Yeah, but I think that's a nice design feature. I wouldn't worry about that. If you hadn't pointed it out, I wouldn't have noticed, because once it's part of something else, you don't really notice it. So don't, I wouldn't worry about it. As I said, I wouldn't have picked up on it, especially if you put it into something else.
Yeah,
So,
well, at least now I know how to fix. I'm going to do another block because we were supposed to do 2 blocks that week anyway, and
right.
the other one's going to be correct, and we'll see if I accomplish fixing what made me do it wrong. Sometimes directions are just see John who goes by the channel name Alibaba Furball.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
He was pointing out that he felt like they left out a seam allowance and that's what caused it. And they probably did. Or I didn't see or I didn't understand it properly. That could have even been that. And that might be how I made the mistake. But either way, it's something that it's a good learning, it's a good learning tool, not just for me, but for those who are watching me do it, because if they decided to do the block, then they'll know, well, something was wrong here. Let me reread the directions to make sure that I catch the actual what's supposed to happen there.
Right. All right. So did you see my finished block?
No, let me see. That one looks good. Look at you
Yeah.
going on that. I like that you chose the dark background.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the dark background. I mean, anyone that's seen me for any amount of time knows that I use gray or black or whatever whenever I can for a background. I just think it makes because I think it's because I use all the bright and happy colors and it just pops.
Yeah,
I feel like it pops better than a white background.
I think I'm gonna have to do a so long where I'm using a dark background in the future because I haven't done one. I've done the gray though on that you see up there, but and I'm trying to figure out what I want to use on the back of that one. So I'm going through my cotton yardage, looking for the right thing because I can keep it simple because that's more or less going to be a wall hanging kind of quilt. I kind of want to try doing applique, not yeah, applique on it. Like put some kind of something on it to give it a little more something. Or I might just leave it like that. Hey Joy T, welcome, welcome.
Yes. Good to see you, Miss Joy. I hope you enjoy your reserve seat there. She always has a reserve seat at my live. We always talk about that. So I'm assuming she has one here too.
I'm not sure what you mean by reserve seat.
Oh, it's just a funny thing we say, like, all the early
Oh,
birds have reserved seats for the
yeah.
live.
Yeah, this is the early this is the only time they see me early live, that's for sure.
That's funny, like most of my guests say that too. Like I'm the only reason they get up early on a Saturday morning or something. So
Yeah.
I seem to be able to drag people out of bed. So
And sometimes I manage to get to your now the last 2 weeks you haven't seen me on your live because I was up all night.
well,
Watching
yesterday I was on an hour early, and the week before, I wasn't live because we were taking Miss Eva to the airport. So,
Was there any crying going on?
of course, yeah, there was the sniffles and the crying and all that good stuff. But that's to be expected. These kids
Yeah.
become family.
Yep.
So
They're part of your lives for a while.
well, forever. I mean, we still talk to all of them on a fairly regular basis. We have a weekly phone call, well, video chat thing with the kids. They
Yeah.
can't always all show up, but that's what I'll be doing once this live ends. We'll go talk to the kids. And I think Miss Allie will be joining us this time. Eva's still in Miami with her mum, so we probably won't hear from her this week.
Joy T says I was up all night. Yeah, she was up all night like I was. We were on someone's live.
Whose live were you on?
Williams.
Oh,
Actually,
okay.
actually, let me rephrase that a little bit. I was watching 2 lives at the same time. I was watching Williams and I was watching Andy's because they both go on late like that because they're on both of them are on I think Andy's on Mountain Time
Yes.
and William is on Pacific Time. So that's like she's 5 hours behind me and he's six behind me. So by the time he goes live, it's like after midnight for me. And it was 5 o'clock this morning before William shut down, and Andy was still going, and I ended up telling her I'm gonna leave your live running, but I'm gonna go horizontal at least, because
Yeah.
for some strange reason, um, I can't watch anyone's live that is vertical on my TV. All I get is a black screen.
Oh, okay.
But all horizontal videos lives work just fine on it. So I don't understand what the deal is.
I don't know. I've never
I,
watched a live on a TV, so I wouldn't know.
well, we have a really big Samsung TV, and I watch a lot of YouTube on it.
Quite a few people do, like, because I'll tell you afterwards, it wasn't in the chat because, we're watching on the TV. I think
Yeah.
it's great that you can do that. Like, Amanda will watch podcasts and that sort of thing there on the TV, but I've never watched a live on a
The beauty
TV.
of it is is like when you're sewing and we can see what you're working on, the TV has it big and you're like really seeing what's going on versus a small screen.
Oh, for sure. No, it makes sense.
We're coming along on this. This star's going to be ready to go together here directly.
Well, that's good. And then, so you're not that far behind me then, really, if you think about
No,
it.
no, and I'm not rushing myself because it's well, I had to rip out two times because I sewed the wrong line.
I've had to rip out once. I didn't trim, and then it wasn't quite enough room.
Yeah,
So, and surprisingly enough, the paper didn't tear.
yeah. Sometimes it tears and sometimes it doesn't. Like
I
this
was
is,
super gentle with the with Jack. Oh, they had so many different seam rippers there for sale yesterday. There were some really pretty ones, and I was really good and didn't buy any more.
I'm getting close to needing a new one, but I think I'll wait till I come to the States so I can actually look at them because I
Yeah.
like really small. Like this one has a really small tip on it, but I also like the ones that are on, the little really small ones. I like the small ones too because they have the small tip on them. I
Okay.
don't like the ones that have these enormous tips on them because if you do put a hole in your fabric, it's a huge hole.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if you knew this, but I was at our friends at Legit Kits yesterday at their stall, and I've been working on Toasty, right?
Mm-hmm.
They now have a mini Toasty.
What really?
Yes.
How much does the mini cost?
I think the kit was 99, was it $99?
Really?
It wasn't much because it's a smaller version. It's like the 30 by 40 or whatever it is.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's really it's neat. It's I had no idea because they I think Tasha pointed it out to me. Um,
Well, that's an interesting uh new thing.
yeah, like I wish I'd known about that, two or well, it wasn't around 2 or 3 years ago because I was like, um, I would have bought that.
I really would like I think when I come to the States next year, I'm going to bring just some particular parts of the color fabric that's in my polar bear kit and see because I would like to add some texture to it, and I want to go where I can see batiks in person and see if I can find some that is real close to the colors they use. Like I would like to put a little texture in the iceberg part of it, and maybe a little
Yeah,
texture in the bears themselves. So like take certain colors and leave the stickers and everything on there. That way I don't get mess up anything by doing that. And yeah, and see if I can't come up find some boutiques that'll work because I don't think I have enough in my like I thought I had more gray. You see I have used a lot of gray there. I used three different grays. I thought I had a lot of gray in my stash, but come to find out, no, I don't. And I
you know what
don't
else
have
would be? No,
go
that
ahead.
sounds good. I was thinking too, the Kona sheen might be nice in spots too.
Kona what?
Sheen, it's got that like this here. See how it's got like that sparkle to it?
Oh, okay, got you.
Yeah. And that's what I'm putting in Toasty.
That's not
Um,
metallic though, right?
it's got some sort of like speckle in it, but it sews up just like regular Kona cotton. It feels a little different, but when you go to sew it, it's no different to working with just the regular cotton. It's really neat
Okay,
to work with.
okay.
Um, and they have a turquoise, they have the silver. They got several different colors. You may want to look into because that's what
Oh,
I'm
I'll
doing with
definitely
mine.
do that. Yeah, I'll definitely do that.
They got a
'Cause I'm,
bunch of colors now. A lot more than they used to. Okay, yeah, so you might want to look at that too. Like throw some batiks in there because that's what I've done with mine is I've put in batiks in where the horns and that sort of thing are,
hmm
and it's worked out really nicely. But in like what you're saying, I think it'd be really good, yeah, with batiks and yeah, maybe throw some of the sheens in as well, like and with some of the blues, because that would kind of give it that ice sparkle
Yep.
um type effect that you're looking for. So
Yeah, because it would, I mean, the kit's beautiful, but if you put a little texture in it, it'll make it more, I don't know.
yeah, oh, for sure. And then it makes it yours. Like yours is unique and it's not like anybody else's because you've made that change.
Yep. I
Uh,
love the Kona sheen. Ingrid says she loves the Kona sheen. They add a little sparkle. I haven't seen the sheen, so that's interesting.
well, I didn't know it existed until I did the Wizard of Oz project with Art East, and that was actually part of the collection, like the fabrics they suggested. And I've used, I think I bought like 7 or 8 different colors that they called for because like the Tin Man is all the silver, like he's actually made out of the silver, and the Glinda the Witch has got the pink and that sort of thing there. But I
Yeah.
use it also for the blush on these characters. You might be able to see it here. It's kind of sparkling.
Yeah, I can see that sparkle in it.
Yeah, and that's the pink Kona sheen. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's
it's a
it.
really neat. As I knew nothing about it, and I went like I think I told you before, Fabric Hut, my local store has all the Kona cotton, and I was like, well, I'll probably have to order it online, the sheen, because I'd never seen it there. But they
Yeah,
had the sheen as well, so like I was able to pick it all up there.
that's cool.
Yeah, so that's something else for you to consider.
There's someone else that has a legit kit that is a creator, and we were talking about sewing together on. Oh, it was Sherry, I think. She's
Okay,
talking about maybe sewing together. Maybe that'll get me motivated to want to sew it. But I've ordered some project bags. It's a big, huge project bag kit that I ordered from Amazon, and it's in Syracuse right now because my friend Melanie is building me a big box. I've ordered boots and some other things, and she's gonna ship me one big box because it's cheaper that way for me. And I'm order I'm there's a few things I'm ordering that's going to go in that box. I've ordered quite a bit already. And when she sends it, there's enough there that I should be able to keep the fabric organized, I hope.
that's good.
Because there's no file system here that I can buy. And trying
Right.
to, and I could order files, file folders itself, but I don't have anything to put it in. And I don't think a plastic box would survive, one of those the plastic box you can put hanging files in.
Yeah.
I don't think that that would survive shipping, between here and there. It would probably get broken.
Well, if you want to, my yeah, I have the file folder system and I just never set it up. Mine is super simple. I just keep all mine in gallon Ziploc bags.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And so like I just cut the pieces out. As I said, you have to dig through a little bit to find it, but like there's only like 10 or 11 colors that I'm really using that I bought fabric for, and then the rest is all was actually all sent to me, like because someone had extra from the that block of the month whose name I can't remember, Vortex. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's all labeled as well, and it was all in Ziploc bags. So I was like, well, it's already already organized basically in the bag. So I just kind of just went along with that. So yeah, if you can't get a file folder system, Ziploc bags has worked quite well for me. It's not the most ideal system. Like I think the file folder system is better
Mhm.
if you have the time and the ability to do so. But if you can't, that is a viable option.
Yep, that's true.
And it's worked well for me so far. So there you go.
That look like it's so big, but it's not. It's quarter inch seam allowance, but it looks bigger. Very strange.
Block number two so far. It's turned out quite nicely.
All right, now let's get these other two triangles on here.
What we got here?
Yep. I really have been enjoying doing these blocks. They're fun and simple and they're not too terribly tedious.
I've liked them too because it's taught my traditionally pieced brain how to do FPP.
Yep. And I love that she put the told you what size to cut and
Yes.
and then she had that video where you could watch her do it. She just goes through it like it's nobody's tomorrow. But the way she teaches it, it makes sense to my brain.
Yeah. And see, I think you could do after doing this, I think you could pick up Toasty or not Toasty, whichever one you had.
It's called Ursula Major.
That's the one. Thank you. You could pick that up and start that tomorrow, and you'd be just fine and dandy.
If I was smart, I'd do all the big pieces first.
It's funny you say that because that's where I started, and I'm glad I did because that thing terrified the heck out of me. But now that I've done a little bit of it, I sometimes struggle more with the bigger pieces than I do with the little ones.
Yeah, I'm a little terrified of it for sure.
You've got to just jump in. You got to get that Band-Aid and just rip and just
And
start.
I think the reason I'm terrified is what if I mess it up? And that thing costs a lot of money. And that would
Okay,
just be such a waste for it to go down the toilet.
you really can't mess it up. Now, the worst thing you can probably do to it, well, besides lose some of the papers, is you can sometimes cut the fabric a little too short. But I was reading on someone had posted about that on their Facebook group a couple of weeks ago, and I love this comment. And they said, "What happens if you cut it too short?" And someone came back and said, "Look, an extra seam in a quilt of 1,200 pieces, no one's ever going to notice."
No, that's true.
And like it was like a week later, I was doing one of my, actually, it might be this piece here. It was one I did recently. I thought I cut it long enough, but I didn't. I missed it by about 3/4 of an inch. And I'm sitting there and I'm getting ready to, say, Sean, you're an idiot, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, you know what? I went back to that thought that person said, where what's that extra seam going to matter in a thing of 1,200 pieces? And so I
Yeah.
just cut out another piece of fabric, stuck it on there, sewed it, and I'm going to have to go digging for it now to go find it. So, yeah, if you goof it up with that, don't even worry about it. Just cut another piece of fabric, sew it on there, and just keep going about your day. You'll be fine. No one's ever going to notice.
Do you
If
do
they do,
you
they've got too much time on their hands.
do you think that there's enough excess fabric to cover for mistakes?
Yes, that's the general consensus from everybody I've talked to. Is that especially with the kids, is that there's more than enough, and if there's not enough, they will send you more. Now, I don't know how it's going to work internationally, but
I don't either.
I don't see you running out. And if you're worried about that, you could always do all the big pieces first before you go to the US, and then if you run out, just have them mail it to you somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, was
Yeah,
by
like
the
I did when I got the kit. I had it Becca sent it to my friend Christine's house.
yeah, and that might be good motivation for you to to get started because yeah, if you go to run out of anything, in my opinion, you probably because I haven't bought the kit, but I think you'd run out of the big stuff if you don't cut it. But
Yeah,
the chance of that happening is very remote. But if you do, I think that you're more likely to run out of that. And if you run out of the small stuff, you could substitute it with something else and no one ever know the difference anyway. So do that, and then that way, if you need them to send you more, which they do free of charge, just have them send it to a US address, and while you're there, and then you can just pick it up and bring it home with you.
that's actually a really good idea.
I thought so. Yeah, I haven't seen the little toasty on the Legit Kit website yet, so it might be like a show special right now. But yeah, they did show. Someone showed that to me, and I was like, I wish I'd known about that beforehand because I would have totally bought the little toasty.
I wouldn't mind doing the horse one, but I looked at the price and I'm like, hmm.
Yeah, but if you look at it like with the by the time you buy all the fabric, if you go out and try and source all that fabric yourself, it's going to cost you that much, if not more.
I guess that would depend on, you know, I'm trying to figure out something about these darn
Especially for the small stuff, because like the
seam line, seam line. Okay, I'm making sure I don't cut the wrong lines on here because I'm ready to
that's
sew all this together.
that's a good idea, not to do it on the wrong line.
Yeah, the dash
It,
line is the sewing line, right? Yeah.
hang on. I'll have to pull
Yes.
yours out.
Yeah, I need to look at my because I have one of them I haven't trimmed down.
Yes, the dash, the little dot lines, like the ones here in the this here in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where you cut. Yes.
Okay. Because I want to make sure I trim this right.
Yeah, I hadn't done this woven stars in a couple of weeks, so I was like, I had to sit there and pull it out and make sure I wasn't making it up.
Yeah, because my first one, I think it would remember I told you the star was bigger than it was supposed to be. It's
Oh
because I
yeah,
sewed on the solid line and then thought I foobarred it by trimming it, and then I was like, no, and when I contacted Fat Quarter Shop to talk me through it, she says you sewed on the wrong line because she asked me which line, and I got to looking, and I'm like, I sewed on the solid line. She says it's the dotted line you're supposed to be sewing. And but it was good that they helped me figure it out. So because I thought I was going to have to order paper again.
yeah. There you
And that
go.
star that's too big, I can just use as an orphan block somewhere because I can't trim it down and make it the same size because then you'll be cutting tips off and everything else.
Right. That's your learning block.
Yep, the channel is very quiet.
It is, yeah, but that's okay. That's because they're all concentrating and listening to us talk, right?
Yep, didn't do a poll as I usually do. Teresa came on last night after one of my guests left, and she says, "You really do like doing them polls, don't you?" I'm like, "Yes, I do," because I love getting feedback.
Yeah, I love polls too. I haven't done a whole lot recently, with polls, which is interesting.
She was up early this morning because I saw her in Lisa's channel. I'm like, she must have never went to bed.
Apparently you have the Insomniacs Club.
Yeah, I've been thinking about the night because there's going to be nights that's not on my usual live night where it's like I just can't sleep. And I'm thinking about doing a series called Sleepless in Greenland. And,
I think it'll
maybe,
be fun.
yeah, and it'll be fun and I'll be sewing and you never know who might show up in those.
Yeah. Well, it's like when I went live at 7 o'clock yesterday, I really didn't, wasn't sure how many people would show up at all. I did it more because I wasn't on last week. I figured, worst case scenario, everybody will come and watch the replay. At least that way, when they get up and they roll out of bed, they have something to watch. They won't have the live chat, but, at least they have a video to watch. And I figured, I might get 20, 25 people if I was lucky. I had like 65 or 67 people yesterday morning. And I was like,
What? Really?
yeah, yes.
Wow. Uh-oh. Why is this one smaller?
I
Oh,
don't
I
know
know
that
why it's smaller.
I don't know if they missed me from last week or I don't know
It
what.
was weird you not having a live to, but I got a chance to watch what you did post. So
Yeah. Like I thought about going live at 8 and then driving up to Richmond, but then I was figured that wouldn't get me up there till like 11:30 noon, and then the traffic was worse than what I thought it was going to be because in this area on Saturday is a changeover day in the Outer Banks, which is a very popular area in North Carolina, big resort area basically. And I was worried about getting stuck in that traffic, and I still did, leaving at 8 o'clock. And then I thought about doing a live in Richmond, like nearby at 8, but I didn't know how that was going to work. So I finally had this brainstorm as we'll take an Alex to the airport. Hey, how about 7 o'clock? We'll see how that works. And then I figured Leanna would be up for it potentially because she likes to go live at 7, and it kind of just all panned out. But yeah, I was really, really pleasantly surprised on how many folks showed up to the live yesterday morning. So thank you for everyone that did.
you know what I that is really cool. You know what's been amazing? I've been doing that 1,000 block so I've been doing
Uh-huh.
tutorials. People are doing them now. I'm so tickled about that.
Yeah, it seems like it's, yeah, from what I've seen, I don't get to watch it all, unfortunately, because there's only so many hours in a day. But yeah, it seems like you're getting a good feedback from that. The blocks look really nice and everything else. So I'm really happy that it's working out so well for you.
Yeah, these blocks are definitely skill builders for sure. And some of them have been quite a challenge, and others of them, like I did one, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think it was 3 weeks ago, one of the blocks I did took 30 minutes to build. That's all. And it was that one that looks like a pin. It was called merry-go-round or something like that. And
Uh-huh.
it reminds me of those. I don't know what they're called, but they're on a stick and they twirl when you go outside and the wind catches it and makes them turn like a
Pinwheels?
windmill. The little when we were all kids, we played with them.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of those. I think it's like a pinwheel or something like that.
Yeah,
But
something like that. Yeah, and that block reminds me so much of that because I loved playing with those when I was a kid. I just run around all day long watching the wind push those around. Make them turn. There was just something I liked about it.
yeah, that was always fun to see it work. Oh, Andy's ears must have been burning. We were just talking about her a few minutes ago, and there she is.
Hey, Andy, and I
Yeah,
have
Katie
one
was.
more.
You told us that you were watching her live last night in the middle of the night.
No, I'm talking about Andy Crafty Witch.
Ah, okay. I'm
The crochet.
sorry.
She's see. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's been a filtering of other creators coming into our quilting channels,
Yes.
and they're coming from Tuber Chat's channel, and that's how I'm meeting them. And now they're watching my lives, and they're starting to show up in other channels like Mona's channel, Lisa's channel. Some of them come into. There's a couple that show up in Williams. I think I've
Well,
seen a couple inside of Sherry's, and it's because we all have been over to Tuber Chat making friends, and um, this networking is helping our channel a lot.
that's good.
I knew something was wrong with this. I didn't trim what this one's correct, but this one wasn't. I needed to trim this one some more. But it's working out because I'm meeting some really cool people. So Andy is an avid crocheter. But what I
Okay.
didn't know until recently is she sews. So she came onto my live. She's been on the live with me where it was me, Shonda, and another lady by the name of Amanda, who is also a crocheter. And I've been doing a once a month crochet live. And
Yes,
that's been a really good. We're getting quite a good turnout from that. And
I saw that.
Yeah, and now here I find out Andy sews. So she came on to my live the other day as a challenge, and she sewed. And she worked. She was working on. Let me think what she was working on. I think she was making a bag or something. I don't remember exactly. And yeah, it was fun. Meeting. You never think about you might can bring someone on your chat, because they have something a little bit different that they do. But
Yeah,
it turns out that you discovered during that time frame they also happen to sew, and you didn't know that.
well, that's really neat. Yeah, I haven't come across too many folks that knit and crochet and sew, but it's nice to see that they do.
I really should try to see. Your wife just knits though, right? She don't
Yeah,
crochet.
correct. She's tried crochet and it just doesn't. I don't know. It does. She hasn't figured it out. It seems like most people do one or the other. Some do both. Like Ali, our exchange student from Denmark, who just went home. She came over here. She knew how to crochet and did a really good job at it, but she was able to learn how to knit with Amanda while she was here. So now she has the skill
Another
set for
skill.
both.
Yep. Andy says, "Good morning, Sean, Katie, in chat." And then Christina Stromberg, she says, "Watching you while walking Freya."
That's a neat name. That's just one of
I
my
think
coworkers
Freya's
has a
a
dog.
pretty name.
It is, yeah. One of my dear coworkers, his dog's name is Freya as well. So that's really neat to hear that there's another one out there.
It's a Norwegian name.
Hmm. I don't know if he knows. He probably knows that. He's wicked smart. All right, let's see how we do that. I love that people take us on walks or to the store or
Yeah.
driving down the road. Like that always means a lot to me. Like I think it's really neat that like because I've had people say that take me to Home Depot or they might be doing it anymore. That I've been live inside Joann's in the past.
Yeah. Last night, someone was painting while listening, painting their hallways walls, and the other person was outside picking beans while listening to me. I thought that was
Right.
really cool.
It's fun, 'cause I think it's almost like they're listening to a friend or they're
Yeah.
that sort of thing there. And I just think it's neat that that folks there's plenty of places they can be right now.
Yep.
There's plenty of entertainment options out there for them, but they choose to come and hang out with us for a little bit of it.
Yep.
And that just means a lot. It really does. Every time someone logs onto a live, even if it's only for a few minutes to say hi, it's very, very much appreciated because you don't have to be here. We are not your only choice. It's not like when I was a kid and you had two TV channels, so there wasn't a whole lot of choice. There's plenty of choices out there for you, and it means a lot that you all decided to come and hang out with us for a bit. So,
My husband's been making friends with some of the YouTubers and going over there. Like when I was in Andy's live watching her live last night, guess who showed up in her live? My husband.
that's fun.
I'm like, because when I start my life, it's his shift. He's working, and
Right.
unless I run it past when it's time for him to get off, he'll doesn't necessarily get to watch my lives unless they're in port or something, and then he will. But he was in her chat for a little bit.
Well, that's neat.
She also builds Legos. So there's been a challenge between her and Nikolai doing a Lego challenge, and it's been an interesting thing going on between Legos, sewing, and crocheting. It's been pretty fun.
Oh, it's funny you just mentioned that because I cannot pronounce it how it's supposed to be pronounced. It's like Lego or something like that.
Lego.
Ellie was no, it's in Danish. It's different.
No,
It's
I don't think
yeah.
so.
Well, the Dane that lived with me told me otherwise.
That's interesting. I'll have to ask Nikolai about it.
Yeah, ask him because Ali was telling me it was like Lego. Like I can't pronounce it right because I don't have that Danish
Well, the way they say
accent.
it may be different, yeah, than how
That's
I
that's
say it.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like folks in English speaking parts of the world say Lego or that sort of thing now. But
Well,
yeah, in
mo- most people in the United States assume that Legos is an American thing and don't know it's from Denmark.
right.
I didn't know that till I moved here. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I knew it
we,
was like as a kid, I probably wouldn't have been able to tell you which country in Europe, but I knew it wasn't Australian or American.
yeah, definitely not American like I thought it was. And then when I looked, I'm like, okay, time to go do some research. And when I looked to see how long ago they started them, and they started out with woodwinds to begin with.
Hmm.
It was pretty interesting information.
Yes, so Andy's asking here, am I going to share a special video about Road to Virginia? Yes. And did I meet up with Tasha? Yes. So yeah, I haven't had a chance to do do a special video. I did talk about it on my podcast briefly. Um, and there's a little bit of footage in my podcast as well, like 20 seconds worth. It's not a whole lot. But yeah, I do plan on doing a like a like an overview video, like what I thought, what I liked, who I met, what I bought, all that sort of
Did you
stuff.
buy much?
I did. Well, not a whole lot. But I got what I wanted, and then one thing that I didn't plan on buying, but it was a nice thing at a nice price. So you'll get to see those in just a little while. I hope to get that video out sometime this week if all goes well, but I make no promises.
Yeah, because you restrained yourself at QuiltCon.
Sorry?
Yeah, because you restrained yourself at QuiltCon.
Yeah, I usually go in with a budget, like and
Well, of
get what
course, I
I
did too, but
yeah, I went a little bit over what I had planned, but not by much. Basically, I think I got two t-shirts and a pair of scissors that I wasn't planning on buying.
yeah, I bought these scissors at QuiltCon,
Okay. It
and
looks
I
similar to
am
what I got.
loving them. They're Kai, I think they're Kai scissors. Yeah, Kai. But I didn't have them enough of them because I had to stretch my budget because how long I was going to be in the States. So I'm like, well, I wanted another pair besides this to go with this, but then I got to thinking, well, if I overspend my budget, then something's going to come up short when I end up in Florida. So I was really, really just being mindful.
Yeah. No, it was funny. Like you said, I restrained myself at QuiltCon, and that's true. The only thing I bought at QuiltCon last year was a skein of yarn for my
Yep,
wife.
yep, exactly. And then you went somewhere else and only bought yarn. You went to Road to Virginia. That's what it was, wasn't it?
No, the Road to Virginia was yesterday, and that's the first time it's been here. I went to
You went
Mid-Atlantic
to,
the following week,
that's what it was, Mid-Atlantic. Yeah.
and I went back and bought another skein of yarn because I bought this. I forget what color it was for Amanda. I think it was probably purple, knowing her. But there was this really pretty skein of red yarn, and I got halfway down the interstate coming home, and I was like, I really wish I'd bought that red yarn because I figured that'd be really good for a pair of socks for me. And I was like, okay, well, it wasn't meant to be. And so I was at the Mid-Atlantic show the next week, and the same lady, same store was there, and she had the red yarn. So I was like, okay, it's meant to be. So they both went.
Yep.
I don't know if I bought much else at that show either.
I think you only bought yarn. I don't think you bought any fabric that I remember
Uh,
you saying
I
anything about it anyway.
I rarely buy fabric at quilt shows. It just doesn't. I don't know. When I buy fabric, unless it's something that really catches my eye, like a novelty fabric, like if it was like Darksons or Back to the Future or something like that, I might grab it. But other than that, I prefer to go into a store with a plan. Like if I'm buying for a particular project, I don't generally buy stuff just for the heck of it. So I don't buy a lot of fabric at quilt shows. Last year, what did I get? I don't think if I got anything. No, I got the quilting rulers the year before. No, I'm on the board a whole lot. This year, whole different story. I bought the sewing machine and some other stuff.
Well, I don't think you
Yeah.
had much choice in the sewing machine department due to the fact that you lost one.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was a justified purchase. because you need a sewing machine. But yeah, generally I go in like I have an idea of what I want, and I think I'm really getting to the point now where I'm really running out of stuff that I want. So I won't buy much at all at future quilt shows. Sorry, vendors, but that's okay.
I need to find me a good place to buy boutiques that's not freaking $14 a yard.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right
Then you
now,
got the
I was going through my yardage or looking at my yardage yesterday, and I'm like, oh boy. 'Cause I've been using quite a bit of yardage lately. I mean,
yeah,
I'm also sewing out of scraps. I have a big scrap pile that I've been sewing out of. But when like if I need to do uh like this white background you see me using,
right.
I bought uh I started out buying 7 yards from Jordan Fabrics of it. And then when it got here and I looked at it, I'm like, maybe I should buy a whole bolt of this because it would last me a while. Well, I contacted him and he said, well, they didn't have any full bolts left, but they did have one that had 7 yards on it. So I bought that 7 yards. So I ended up with 14 overall. And I'm real close to wiping out that first 7 yards as of day before yesterday. There's this much left on that 1 7 yard.
Wow.
I have been using it so much with all these projects I got going on at the same time.
Yeah. It's good to have a bolt of, the stuff that you use a lot. 'Cause, like I bought a bolt of the Kona pepper that I use like as background for a lot of things. Like that's what I'm using for Toasty and a bunch of other different projects. So yeah, if you're using the same background color for a lot of different things, it's well worth. It's a big investment up front, but then you're not having to buy it for a long time.
Yeah. Hey, Judy. Judy says that Katie, you should check out Marshall Dry Goods and see if they will ship to you. Yeah, I need to check on that. Hey, Andrea, I hope you're feeling better. And Andy says there are a couple local D-Stash sales coming up here in Phoenix. Want to send me a shopping list, Katie? Sure.
So this is the next one.
Definitely good. I was, oh, look. Hey, I like that one. That's
I do too.
pretty. That's gorgeous. You're just coming along on that.
Well, I cut out 5 of them, so
Oh, okay, got you. That's
well,
right.
I
You
knew
did.
I
Okay.
wouldn't get them all done this morning, but I figured at
Yeah.
least this way I have them for a little while. So
Now remember, you guys, I have not trimmed this down yet.
well, that's nice.
This one's giving an interesting look to it.
Yes. All right. Christina says, Sean, your Saturday Live caught my eye a year ago and now I'm hooked. That is awesome. I love seeing you pop in on the lives every week. I noticed that it's fun to see folks from um all over the place. You know, from the Nordic countries and then Canada and Australia, people pop in from time to time. I was a bit surprised yesterday I didn't have more Australians pop in because it was only 9 p.m. Eastern over there instead of 10. So I thought,
Uh,
maybe we would have more people pop in, but I didn't give everyone a whole lot of notice. So I guess that's part of it too. All right. Did your Nightbot work okay yesterday, Katie?
it seemed it's at the beginning of the live last night, it seemed like it was sluggish, like it was asleep. Because
Okay.
so then I issued a command that I wanted to share a channel, like we should check that out. Has mine been even running? Oh, it's running. Um, uh, and when I did that, it like hesitated for I don't know a minute or two, and then suddenly it was working, and then at some point it was overdoing it. So I don't know, it was acting weird.
Okay. All right. The reason I was asking was that my Nightbot hadn't worked for eons, like weeks, and then I got rid of it and I was using Streamlabs, I think it was, and then it quit working. And so I was trying to mess with it yesterday, or Friday night actually, before the live, and it had you in there as a manager.
What?
I know, that's what I said.
Well, I have you on mine as a manager.
No,
Yeah, I bet.
this was a Nightbot itself, not as a, not in YouTube. And I thought that is the strangest thing. And I was like, I wonder if that's what's causing mine not to work. So I deleted you as a manager inside Nightbot, not you're still a moderator in the YouTube part. And I don't know if that's what caused it or not, but it worked like a charm yesterday. So, but I was like, how did Katie get on there as a manager?
I don't know. I ain't been hacking. I don't even know how to hack.
I know you, and I know that. I mean, I know that you're not super tech savvy. So it was just weird that it
Yeah,
popped up
that's
that
right.
you.
I'm not.
So, and I wasn't concerned at all. I was like, I was just like, hmm. I was just a little fearful that if I got rid of you, like deleted you, that maybe it was tied to yours somehow, and then yours wouldn't work. So, but if yours worked yesterday, then I figured it shouldn't make any difference. But I just wanted to make sure I didn't accidentally goof yours up as well. So I
Yeah,
don't know what happened.
I do have you on my YouTube channel. You know where you can list moderators that you want on your channel,
Yeah,
but there's also a section that says it's not called head moderator, but you have more control over my channel than the
yeah,
regular
the
moderators.
managing one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That
and
this was
you're on
different to
that
that.
one. Yeah, I have you on that one because you're tech savvy and I'm not. So
Right. Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that I didn't goof yours up yesterday, and as I said, it
nope.
seems to be working here as
I
well. But
think it's funny that my name was on it. That's hilarious.
I I had never seen that before, and as I said, I
I
was just like,
know, right?
let me just get rid of this. I can always put you back if I have to, but let me get rid of this and see if this. And as I said, it could have been something totally unrelated, but.
Yeah. I could have sworn I only had four of these pre-made. I guess so. Dang.
All right. Sandy says she loves that block and will make it soon. I hope. I love the bright colors. Great job. Andrea says she's dealing with a nosebleed at the moment, had to back away from the quilt. Yes, definitely back away from the quilt when you're having a nosebleed. That is a very, very wise move.
Sandy says, I love that block and we'll make it soon. I hope so. I love the bright colors. Great job. Thank you. Or were you to I don't know who you were. Thank you from both of us. Put it that way.
Yes, exactly.
Because we're really having a good time with this.
Yeah. If you're interested at all, I highly recommend that you jump on board and give this a try. I
Yeah.
don't think we're not affiliates. Well, I know I'm not.
Nope,
So
we're
it's not.
not.
So we're not making any money out of this, except the ad revenue from Katie's video. But it's not like we're getting kickbacks from Fat Quarter Shop if you make a purchase. I just think it's a fun little project. I pull these out sometimes when I just want to I want something simple to do because, like Katie said earlier in the video, they give you the cutting instructions and it's all 1.25 inch wide, just different
Yeah.
lengths. And so it goes together really quickly. I think I spent maybe 45 minutes last night, and half of that was digging out the fabrics and figuring out which ones I wanted to put together to cut
Yeah,
it
it's
all
taking
out.
more time to do that than anything.
Anything else? So it cuts. The cutting is not difficult. So yeah, if you're interested, yeah, definitely give it a go.
Hey Laura Sup, how are you?
Good morning. Good morning. All right. Let's see how much more we can get done.
I need to start making the banner for the celebration so I can start really advertising it really good. Because
Yes.
I'm really hoping people will come and hang out throughout the 12 hours. Because when I did the 12 hour on my second annual 12 hour for New Year's Eve, despite all of the lives that were going on everywhere, people came in and I ended up with quite a bit of watch hours out of it.
Well, that's good. Yeah, because I think
Yeah,
everybody and their brother and sister was on that night. Like I had
yeah.
and I wish I'd known about yours beforehand because I would have changed the date on mine.
Well, now you're going to know there's going to be a third annual one, just telling you.
Oh yeah, you and I have already discussed that because I normally
Yeah.
do a big
Or
trunk show with like
trunk
25 other
show.
people. And
I'm
so
going to have stuff for your trunk show, I think, this year too.
Well, good, 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 good. Yeah, because yeah, well, I'd love to have you back for that. So I think this year I'm actually going to do it on New Year's Day.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, in the afternoon, so that way my friends from the West Coast can hop up and see it without having to get out of bed before the sparrows do.
And
And
give me a
folks in
chance to
Europe,
take a nap because I've been on a 12 hour.
you can have a nap. Folks in Europe can have a chance to, see it after dinner. And then the folks in Australia and New Zealand will just have to get up at the crack of dawn, I guess, or they can watch the replay. And, it's a premiere, so if you don't, you can always watch it later on. I mean, I can't please everybody, unfortunately, as much as I'd like to be
No,
able to.
we can't.
So
No.
we do our best. That's kind of the time frame I'm looking at right now is New Year's Day. I figured that'd be the way
I
to
think that's
go.
a great I think that's a great idea. And you know what, Sean? January the 2nd is going to be mine and Nikolai's 15th wedding anniversary.
Oh, very nice.
A new milestone.
And he'll be home for that, you said, right?
Yes, he will.
That's awesome.
So I'm super happy about that. Katie, that was you, although wait. Katie, that was for you, although I like Sean's work as well. I am enjoying you two together. Yeah, I love
Thank you.
sewing with Sean. We don't get to I don't get to do it very often with him, but when I do, I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I know you told me that all the time, and like I'd like to be able, it'd be nice to do it more often, but there are only so many hours in the day.
I know, and it's because you have a job and a real job, and
Oh, that takes up a lot of my time,
and then
and
you have youngsters to deal with too
yeah,
during the fall and spring. So that ties into everything too. So I'm not complaining. It's just there's times when I miss sewing with you.
yeah.
And
I'm
I
thinking,
am so glad about finally getting to sew with Shonda and uh Shanice, because there was a period of time where neither one of them were they had lost their mojo completely and they weren't doing anything.
okay. Well, it's good that they're found it again. And I hear that. Thankfully, I haven't really had that issue, but I've always been under the impression that if you run into you lose your sewing mojo, the best thing I can suggest to folks is find something that brings you joy, something that you get excited about. It doesn't matter if it's a new project. If starting a new project gets you back, because it's kind of like I feel like you need to get back, you need to get that start. So if starting a new project gets you excited again about sewing, do that. Don't feel if you're worried about the thing that's been sitting on your desk for 6 years, don't let that worry you. Just do something that brings you joy. Whatever's bringing you joy at the moment will bring you excitement. Do that because everything else will follow.
Well, Shonda made a ballot, um, and you'll have to go look for she just posted a video day before yesterday, and you should go listen to it. She talked about what happened to her. And
Okay.
when I heard it, I'm like, we should really have this discussion on my once a month live that I do with Danny, when we were talking about mental health and crafting
Uh-huh.
and how we deal with issues when they arise. And something she said in her premiere video that she posted 2 days ago was something very valid that we should talk about. She had burned herself out, is what she did.
Mm.
She was sewing all the time, which is not the problem, but she was isolating herself in the process without realizing it, because
Right.
she wasn't doing any YouTubing or anything else, because she was so laser focused on what she was doing that she burnt herself out
Yeah, and that's
and
easy to do.
totally lost her mojo altogether.
Yeah, it's easy to do, unfortunately. I mean, I sometimes get to a point where I'm like, okay, there's too much going on. I just got to step back a little bit, because sometimes I'll plan to do this video and that video and that's video, or and it just doesn't come out. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, okay, whatever, you know, like it'll come out when it's meant to be out. I don't ever I try not to pressure myself to do it.
Because there's sometimes there are times when I'm like, I don't want to do this. It's like,
Yeah,
I just no, I don't want to do it. But lately, when I feel like that, as soon as I or it'll be I don't want to go live. I don't know why. Some every now it's getting where I'm not having it as often as I was. But and it's not anything in particular that made me feel like that. I just was woke up and I'm like, I really don't want to do this. But is I get about 20 minutes into the live, and whatever was making me feel that way, I was over whatever was causing it. And I was
that's good.
happy and enjoying the live and enjoying sewing and but I really don't understand when I get in these little I call them funks where it's like I really don't want to do this.
Yeah, well, that's understandable.
And it's nothing that anyone done. It was just state of my mind.
Yeah, well, sometimes you need some time for you.
Yeah, and sometimes I don't take me time. Like, and don't anyone scold me. Someone's going to anyway. But I had that live that I did Thursday. It ended up being 5 hours long. Do you know that I didn't eat the entire day? I
Hey,
forgot to eat. I totally did not eat the whole darn day.
okay, well, I'm not going to scold you, but try not to do that again.
Yeah, and Nikolai's like, you got to stop doing that. I, it's so hard to make food for one person
It is, yeah.
because it's like I don't want to cook because it's just me. But
Makes
somebody made a good piece of advice yesterday when I was talking about this. They said, why not make a big meal and then freeze part of it? And that's actually a
uh,
good idea.
well, I was going to tell you something similar, like make stuff that makes good leftovers, something that reheats
Yeah.
well. That's something Amanda and I do, especially when the kids aren't here, because it's just, it's different with one versus two, but even with two, most of the meals recipes that you have are for four servings,
Mm-hmm.
six servings,
Yep.
and that sort of thing
Yep.
there. So, yeah, and we have a nice set of favorites that are good reheated. And so, yeah, we'll make the four servings and we'll have it for dinner one night and then we'll both eat it for lunch the next day. So that would be my tip to you and anybody else that's, living alone or as, as a couple, you know, do stuff that reheats well.
Yeah.
Like casseroles are good for that. A lot of casseroles are really good for reheating and that sort of thing there. And then, it makes it,
Pastas, red sauce is a good one to freeze too because red sauce freezes well.
yeah.
And I discovered that so I buy cases of when I go to the grocery store, like I'll be going to the grocery store Monday and I tend to buy like a case of whole chickens and a case of chicken legs and a case of chicken wings. Now with the chicken wings, the bags that the chicken wings come in, the the chicken wings are not like flash frozen before they put them in the bag. They're all frozen, so they're one big chunk of chicken wings. And I discovered that if I thaw them out and then I use a really big roasting pan and I roast all those chicken wings at once in the oven, and then if I take them off the bone, and takes like 80% of it and put them in small containers and put them in my freezer, then I can turn around and use those for like a small pasta meal or or for chicken soup or something like that where I don't have to do extra work.
Right.
But I've already eaten all of that. So now I gotta make new ones.
Oh well, it happens. Sometimes you just get hungry.
And I was worried that the chicken wings would be dry because I had frozen them. But when I took them out and heated them up for whatever it was I was using them for, they were just like I had just got them out of the oven.
Oh,
So
that's nice.
I had done it right where I didn't overcook them or anything so that when it was time to warm them up, they were good, you know.
On chicken's hard because you want to get it to for safety reasons, you want to get it to 165 Fahrenheit internal temperature, to make sure there's no salmonella or anything else. Um, but once you get to like 170, 175, it starts getting dry. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't have a thermometer to test the temperature, but I can tell by, and this is how my mother taught me, when chicken starts to draw away from the bone, it's done.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know.
And you can tell with chicken wings because they'll be the ones that'll draw away from the bone the quickest because they're smaller.
Yeah. Yeah, I use a thermometer for everything. Was a I had a food manager certification for many years. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a thermometer. I wish I did at times.
If you can get your hands on one, they do make life a lot easier.
I meant to buy one when I was in the States this last time, and it just slipped my mind.
Well, why don't you
Because
have because they haven't sent that box to you yet. Why don't you get your mate to send you one? I mean, you can pick
yeah,
them
I
up
could
at,
buy one and put it in that box. That's right. That's a good idea.
because I mean, they're not that expensive. So,
No, they're
and
not.
it weighs next
She
to
would know,
nothing.
and probably I could just give her the money and she could go buy me one since I know she uses them.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Because I mean, like $10 or $12, you'll have a nice one, and you can just shove it in that box.
Because I would like to have one when I'm cooking big chunks of meat at once, like a whole ribeye roast. This
Hmm.
last time I made a big ribeye roast, I I felt like I had overcooked it a little bit because
Yeah.
I was doing a live and forgot about it. And when I went in there, I'm like, oh my God. But it turned out, even though I did what I did, the meat was so tender, it just like fell apart when I started cutting into it. And when we sat and ate it, Nicholas, like, it's not dried out or nothing. It tastes great. It's just different because he's used to me making it medium rare, you know?
Right.
And but it turned out to be okay.
Well, that's
But
good.
burning, overcooking meat is not a good idea.
No, not at all. Oh,
Andrea says she also makes TV dinners for the freezer. Hmm.
well, there you go.
She says she's a canner and she makes big batches of soups and stews and can them so uh they can just open a jar and heat and eat. Yeah, I have to figure out that problem. Joy T says I agree with Katie, but I decided today not to deny myself good meals, so I make enough for 2 meals because I don't have enough freezer space to save a lot of meals. It works for me. Um,
That
let
works
me see
too.
here. And then Judy says, I do that a lot. I will freeze half of the food and we'll eat it later. And I always have soup on hand to eat when I'm alone. And then Laura says the 12-hour lives are nice because you can watch for a bit or for a little longer time and spread the love to more channels. Yeah, that's why I call it the open door policy. Come in, stay a while, go see someone else. And if you don't have somewhere else to go after that, come back to me, you know.
Yep. That
I
sounds
was
good.
behind. It wasn't you, but I think it was me behind Laura. Why did I put that leader in there? I don't need that leader. Dang it. You should have seen me last night binding this quilt. Teresa Louise had to get on to help me because I was just having issues trying to join the two ends together again. I don't know why I can't get that. It just teases me every time I do it.
Oh, I feel like that. No, I did it right. Okay, hallelujah.
Are you still enjoying your new machine?
Oh, yeah, very much so.
Oh, I need to switch. Ah, what
You all
happened?
right?
Yeah, something's happening over here. One thing, I need to change my presser foot. I think that was the problem. Wrong foot for what I'm doing now.
Oh, I do like my new machine a lot. I'm very happy with the purchase. I actually saw the nice people I bought it from yesterday. And yeah, no, I'm really happy with it. I miss my little brother because I mean that for piecing that thing was amazing. 'Cause
Um,
no, I'm very happy with this one.
when Nikolai did the sewing challenge with me and he sewed on the little singer, when I sat down to thread that thing and mess with it and make sure everything worked okay and I cleaned it and stuff, I could not believe how tight and tiny that thing really is after being on my big machine.
But yeah, you get spoiled.
I'm like, this is why I wanted another machine. It's just too crap. And he kept pulling the thread out of the needle, and I said, that particular machine, that is an issue. It's so easy to pull the thread out of the needle. And when I was sewing on it and I got ready, I was doing this, John, looking for the thread cutter. It doesn't have one.
Yeah, it's funny how you do that.
Andrea, Joy T says, Andrea, I miss canning. I never learned how to can. Andrea, do you can vegetables from your garden or buy from a farmer's market? Joy's asking her that.
Okay. Yeah, I've never done canning. I basically know that I've seen how it's done.
Well, I wouldn't mind canning soup since me and Nikolai like to make homemade soup. But vegetables, I prefer freezing them. I don't like them in a can.
Right.
We eat a lot of green vegetables. We eat a lot of broccoli, spinach, um, haricots. We go through a lot of those.
You see Laura here saying she's trying to get a sojo back. It's been difficult for a while because I couldn't physically do it. Now I can physically do it, but I don't know where to start because I have so much more to catch up on. And that's kind of what I was saying earlier, is just find whatever speaks to you that day. Just
Yep.
grab that. Don't worry about, and I found too, like when I have a million things going on that I want to make a kind of get overwhelmed of what's going on project wise, I sit down and make a list. And I'm not a list person usually, but I find writing down a list and kind of seeing what's there, once you put those projects down on the list, I find that you start to figure out, hey, I want to do this first, and then I want to do this, and that one can wait. So maybe give that a try and see if that helps. It may help you, it may not. We all work differently. You know, what works for me may not work for you. So, don't feel bad if it doesn't work for you, or don't worry if you think that's the craziest idea you've ever heard. Don't do it. You won't upset me, I promise. But that's kind of it's worked for me. I make a list, and then that helps me kind of put it in my brain, like as to how I'm going to tackle this.
Okay, this rotary cutter is starting to annoy me. It must be time to be changing
Yeah,
the blade.
yeah. I just changed mine recently, so I should be good for a while.
I could have sworn, but this might not be the one I changed because it's not got that weird color. So this must be one of them I haven't changed yet. Usually I try to change all of them at once, but I didn't get around to changing this one.
So what we need to do is put like a sticker or something on the thing that says when we changed it, because I can never
Yeah,
remember. I can never remember either.
I thought about using the permanent marker pen. What are they called? Sharpies.
Sharpie. Yeah.
Yeah, but then I thought, it might be permanent on the blade, but I'm wondering if you do that, if it would rub itself off with the fabric.
I know, I was thinking that too.
So there's got to
That's
be
why I
an
was like,
alternative.
that's why I'm wondering, like, if you put a little sticker like here or something with a
Yeah,
date on
yeah,
it.
that would probably be a good idea.
I don't know. I mean, if someone has a better idea, I'm all ears.
Yeah, me too. Like if you know what we can do to remind you, change your blade.
Because I mean, some people might write it down in the book, and that if that works for you, wonderful. But I know I'm not. I'm going to forget to I'm going to forget to write it down in the book. So that's probably not going to work too well for me. It has to be on the thing somewhere where I can see it.
Yep. He needs to
I
be
usually
like
just
right
change.
on the rotary cutter.
Yeah, I usually just start to change it when it starts, skipping and that sort of thing there. It seems like once it starts doing that, I'm like, okay, it's time to change it.
What I could do though is turn the blade around and use the other side up or turn it up. Yeah, turn it the other direction and get a little bit more life out of it. That might work. Yeah, let's try that and see if that doesn't help.
All right, Miss
And
Katie.
then
All
I'll
right,
change it
well,
after the live.
yeah, I'm almost done with this block, and then I do need to run away because we've got the call with the kids shortly because it is 10.
Okay, we've been live what, 2 hours now?
2 hours, yeah.
Okay,
So
so I got my 2 hours with you.
yes, you got the 2 hours,
I,
yeah.
yes, I did.
And really,
That's
like
what
two hour, like I don't know how you managed to do 12-hour lives. Like after about 90 minutes, 2 hours max, I am done. That's about as much as you can get out of me. So
because when on the 12-hour live, I'm probably working on a UFO or something like that. Other
yeah,
than you are going to do the challenge, but yeah, I'm working on something related to that where when I get started, I don't want to stop. And I
right.
just, and it's very easy for me to, when I get focused on really wanting to accomplish something, it's easy for me to just take up a bunch of hours. It's just like
Yeah,
Thursday when I was working on that block, that big block, because it had a lot of half square triangles in it. Um, no, not Thursday, Friday. But Thursday, I think we went 4 hours, and I don't even know how I went 4 hours, but I
yeah.
did. It's just easy to just get into the groove of sewing, and I totally just lose track of time. Sometimes Nikolai, when he's home, he's like, you've been on here for 3 hours. Don't you think it's time to stop because you've been sitting in that chair the entire time? And I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm hard to nail down for any long period of time too. So
Yep, yep. Hi, Rita. Well, I've never known you to go to more, I don't know, a couple hours maybe.
I think I did like a 3 or 4 hour live once with Stephanie from Stephanie Stitches a long time ago, and that exhausted me. And I was like, I
And
don't know that I want to do that again.
you were right. Shannon was such a joy to sew with last
Oh,
time.
she is a hoot. I love Shannon.
Yeah,
She is
she
such a
was.
sweet lady. I want to
We
meet her in
had a
person someday.
Yeah, we had a lot of good camaraderie going on yesterday at the live, and
Hmm.
don't forget that I have my podcast premiere on Tuesday, of where I interviewed her. It was just a lot of fun, and I learned a lot about her I didn't know because I
Yeah,
really didn't
nice.
know a lot about her to begin with.
Yeah. Now, when you told me you had her on, I was like, you two are going to get a. I just thought to myself immediately, like, you two are going to get along like a house on fire. So I'm glad
We
you reached
did.
out.
It was a beautiful thing, let me tell you.
Yeah. No, she is a really, really nice person. I need to get her back on my channel again soon because I try and space everybody out. You know, wherever possible, like, 3, 4 months at least between, because there's so many people I want to have on. Like I'd have to have about 15 lives a week to get everybody on monthly.
You know what
So
you could do, Sean. This is what I'm doing. Like I'm going to be sewing with Ian, and I sent an email and I said, it's time for that once a year sew together kind of thing. And he wrote back and he says, you know what? You're right. It is. And that lets
yeah,
you do the ones that you don't get to sew with often enough because you're so busy. There's always a once a year kind of thing, or twice a
oh
year
yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah. Him and I talked yesterday. So um, he'll be back on it. He'll be back on fairly soon. We have a plan for that. So yeah, he's a hoot. I got to hang out with him for a couple of hours yesterday at Road to Virginia, and it was really neat to be able to actually because like I met him at QuiltCon and I've had him on the live once, and that was really about it. So because you'll talk about Ian the off-kilter crafter, right?
Yeah, that's who I'm talking
Yeah.
about. The one
Okay.
and
Yeah.
only.
Yeah, he was so much fun to hang out with yesterday. It was really
I
nice to get
love
to,
hanging out with him.
yeah, because Becca was at a class with Leo and stuff. So yeah, he and I just hung out together for a couple of hours, and it was just really, really neat. Just to get to know him a little bit better, because I've always had a really high opinion of him, but it was just really nice to get to know more about him and that sort of thing there. So, all right, let me show you this, and then I am going to run away because, yeah,
That looks wonderful. And we
yeah.
should answer what's in the chat too.
And then let me show you the other two for anyone that popped in late.
Hey, wait a minute. Let me spotlight so they can get a better view.
Okay.
Okay, now re-show everything.
All right. So this is the one I just finished. I haven't trimmed this down yet. And these
That
are all
looks
made with
great.
all the colors are Tula pink scraps. The background is Kona because I have a jelly roll of that. It's 1.5 inch wide, which is perfect. And there's this one here.
I like that one a lot.
I do. I was really excited to see this one come together. So,
Yeah, it looks wonderful.
and then this is the stripes one. The blue and the green look a lot different in person.
Yeah, I can imagine they do.
And then I made this one earlier in the week
Yeah, I like that one too.
with the tiny stripes. So
That's awesome.
that's me.
Let's see. Laura says, I do not have a list, but maybe I need to break it down into smaller lists and group the projects that way. My list is just a running list and not categorized. Yeah, and I need to do that myself, get more
Yeah.
organized. Then Andrea says, gonna head out to another live. Thanks for the company. Be blessed, less stress, and pet some fabric. See you later, Andrea. And then Rita says, when doing the live, time goes by fast and you do not know it exactly. And Laura says, I'm heading out now to catch a bit of Donnell. Thanks for the chat. Thank you for coming. Rita says, after going on for 5 hours, I'm going, where did the time go? Yep. And then she says,
Yep.
Katie, sorry about not being there. Just this week was bad. It's okay. I understand about internet and not feeling well. It's all good. Hi,
Oh, for
Laura
sure.
Colgan. She says, very nice.
Yes.
And uh Rita says, Scrappy, nice Sean. Kathy Klein says, nice block. And Joy T says, feel better. Okay. All right. And I'm still working on a block, so I only got one done.
Okay. Are you going to stay on, Katie?
No, I'm gonna split because everybody's
Okay.
going somewhere else.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming. We're going to you next time, or we still, what's the plan?
Let's talk about that. We'll figure out a plan and let everybody know.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I want to test the theory with you that I mentioned before, where we should try trying it out.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's work on that then. Um, all right. So yeah, I think we'll wrap
One more
things
time,
up.
tell them when you go live and stuff like that, and then I'll
Okay,
shut everything
I
down.
am live at 8 a.m. Saturday morning, so I am your early guy. I usually have a guest with me. I haven't figured out who it's going to be this week yet, so that's still a mystery. Stay tuned. And then yeah, I usually have a podcast at 9 o'clock on Sundays. So once you finish watching everybody's live, go check out the podcast. You'll get to see what I got up to in the last week and a little bit of footage from the Road to Virginia show yesterday as well. So that's what I have going on.
Okay. And y'all don't forget to show up Tuesday for the podcast with Shannon from Slay Arts. That starts at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. And then I'll update you on what we're gonna do Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of this coming week. So I don't know yet until I sit down and figure it out. So anyway, thank you for coming this morning. Make sure to live, laugh, love, and dream. What do you do with that? You make something. Bye
Yep.
everyone.
All right.
Thanks,
See you
John,
later.
for
Have a good day.
coming.
Thank you.
Yep. You still there or did you hang up?
Yeah, no, I'm here.
Here's when you have a free time in